الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها ثم عرضهم على الملائكة فقال أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين قالوا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم صدق الله العظيم. From ayat number 31 of Surat Al-Baqarah, the qissa or story of the origin of us human beings, the creation of Adam alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala began and told us this story starting from ayat number 30, making it very clear that we did not come from monkeys or from some other creation as they teach in the Western world of education, some evolution theory. One thing needs to be understood is that as far as evolution, where we human beings change into something else, or one creation changes into something else, we human beings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the gift of adaptation. We can adapt. As far as evolving, where if you live in the water for too long, you'll grow gills, or if you jump off trees long enough, you'll grow wings, or you can just drink Red Bull. But it doesn't happen. We don't evolve. Okay? Yes, we adapt. Throughout the year, we adapt to the heat, we adapt to the cold, the various changes in weather. We adapt to financial situations. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created within us human beings this gift of adaptation. We adapt to situations, we adapt to countries. How often is it we go to another country? First thing that happens is we get sick. We're not used to it. We live there long enough, we adapt. We came here to America, we got sick, we adapted. We go back home. First thing that happens is we get sick. Now back home isn't our home anymore. But we adapt. So this is human nature to adapt. We don't evolve. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam, the first human being. Then from Adam alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Hawa radiyallahu anha, our mother. And from there we have insan, or human beings, Bani Adam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the system. The malaika, the angels, they had a reservation in the creation of Adam alayhi salam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a display for the angels by teaching Adam alayhi salam the names of things. In ayat number 31, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا, and we taught Adam alayhi salam the names, all of them. ثُمَّ عَرَضَهُمْ عَلَى الْمَلَائِكَةِ, then we presented those things to the angels. فَقَالَ, and we said to the angels, أَنْبِئُونِي بِأَسْمَاءِ هَؤُلَاءِ, inform me of the names of these things, إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ, if you're telling the truth. Or you are speaking the truth that I'm only going to create a creation that will cause mischief, it will have no benefit. The angels, they did not know the names of those items or those things. So they made a dua or a claim. قالوا, the angels, they said, سبحانك لا علم لنا, glory be to you, O Allah. You are perfect. لا علم لنا, we don't know. إلا ما علمتنا, except whatever you have taught us. إنك أنت العليم الحكيم, you are the being that has complete and perfect knowledge, and you have perfect wisdom. Coming to these ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. We taught Adam alayhi salam the names, kullaha, all of them. First of all, what is in a name? As human beings, we have been given this gift to name things. You don't find this in the animals except in those that are able to mimic human speech, and we teach them like a parrot. But they don't understand what is the meaning of those words. But we human beings, it is our nature. When we find something new, first thing we do, we give it a name. And what is in a name? If we say home, what is in a home? We say mansion, what is in a mansion? We say car, what is in a car? How many things we name? We say aeroplane. We say iPhone or phone, cell phone, tablet. The list goes on. What is in a name? How much information you can have in one word. Not only that, you go to certain fields. Some of these words, they have such profound meanings and so much detail. You go into the education system. We've even named concepts and ideas and formulas. And you go into the field of mathematics, every formula has a name. Pythagoras theorem, for those of us who still remember what that is. Not that we'll probably ever need to use it. You go into statistics and probability and algebra and algorithms, and you go into the list. You go into the field of science, especially biology and medicine. How many words are there? As human beings, what is it that we haven't named? How many diseases and how many cures? The list goes on, how many diseases there are. And every day we're finding new diseases. So now we have type 1 diabetes, type 2. We've ran out of names, so now 1, 2, 3. Same thing. Yes. So this is human nature. Our gift of being able to name things. And what is in those names, amazing how complex they are. And then you ask an expert to try and explain to you what is in that word. You ask an expert in the field of medicine to explain for you cancer. See what kind of explanation he'll give you. You take someone in the field of engineering to explain to you an engine, a car engine, what is in there, a mechanic, he'll explain it to you. And we'll be amazed. Every single item in there has a name also. Not just the car itself, then the engine and what's inside, everything has a name. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us human beings the gift of naming things. And this ability to name things is called bayan, speech. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran in Surat Al-Rahman, عَلَّمَهُ الْبَيَانُ. We taught this human being al-bayan, the ability to speak. And part of that speech, most important aspect is names. As human beings, every human being has a name. And it doesn't stop with the humans. Those that have pets, they've also named their pets. It goes on, You don't find animals doing this. A dog will never name another dog, or a cat will never name another cat, or a bird will not name its children. It doesn't happen. But as human beings, how many things we've named. In some cultures, someone names their child after your name, there might be a problem. Some cultures, they take pride in it. So this is the nature of human beings, is to name. And inside a name, how many things are hidden? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in this ayah, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءِ. We taught Adam alayhi salam names, kullaha, all of them. One meaning is the name of the items of this dunya, of this world. Because in the previous ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that He told the angels, إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. I'm going to put in this earth my vicegerent. We know that in certain companies, if there's a certain project and a team is put together to fulfill the requirements of that project, the first thing they do is put the team through training. And the training is so that they understand the project and they're able to fulfill the requirements of that project. They go through rigorous training. And after they go through that rigorous training, then they're given the project. It's not that they're just random people are taken and given some random project. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us human beings for this dunya, for this world. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from day one equipped us human beings with everything we need for survival in this world. We were not Neanderthals and cavemen. They give you this funny picture in this book, and you see this very hairy human being growing, becoming a human. The first human beings, they were very tall. Adam alayhi salam was taller than a tree. Qawm Ad, they were as tall as trees. Yes, then we started getting shorter and shorter. In the books, they're going backwards. You have this hairy man who can barely walk and he turns into this human being. This is not how it was. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam and then equipped him with everything, including the knowledge and understanding of how to survive in this dunya, how to survive in this world. And that is coded in the very genetics of us human beings. Yes, after that, we as human beings continue to research. The gift of intellect, the gift of intelligence, it doesn't stop. One nature of knowledge of ilm is that the person who has ilm doesn't think he has it. And the person who doesn't have it, the ignorant jahil, he thinks he has it. This is the nature of knowledge. That is why you find the ulama, by nature they're very humble because they don't feel like they know anything. The nature of knowledge is such that the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put this in the very first human being, Adam alayhi salam. And that is why as human beings in this world, how much research is going on. You'll be surprised how much money is put into research even in this most civilized country. Go to the universities, you'll find billions and tens of billions of dollars going into research. In one university sometimes, millions, tens of millions go into one university for one particular field of expertise. And you think that this particular field is finished, and they start to come out with new items, new ideas, new concepts, much more research. Because as human beings, we understand one formula. Man talaba faqad wajada. Whosoever seeks, so they will find. And the more you seek, the more you will find. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught Adam alayhi salam the names of the things of this dunya, of this world, equipped him, gave him full equipment. That is one meaning. The other meaning also, there's another tafseer to this ayah as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the ayat of the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ مَا أُرِيدُ مِنْهُم مِّن رِزْقٍ وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَن يُطْعِمُونَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الرَّزَّاقُ ذُو الْقُوَّةِ الْمَتِينَ. The ayat from Surah Dhariyat, that we have not created man and jinn except for my worship. And the Mufassirin write in that ayah that the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in essence is ma'rifah, recognition of who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. It should be understood that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is infinite. And being infinite, to try and understand that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has given us human beings names, and He also has names. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Adam alayhi salam the ma'rifah, his ma'rifah. Such names that could describe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the ilm equipping Adam alayhi salam with the ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the very beginning. Part of that ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also understanding the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because for those who are in the field of art, you can understand the skill of the artist from the art. You can understand the skill of a builder from what he builds. You can understand the skill of an engineer from the things that they make, the things that they invent. You can also understand the skill of certain experts in the field from the results of their skill. We may not be able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but look at the creation. There are some things that are so amazing. The one can just be bewildered and blown away. What an amazing creation Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. And if that is makhlooq, if that is the creation, how is the creator? He has created all of this. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala equipped Adam alayhi salam with the ilm of the material things of this dunya, but at the same time gave him the ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that was to such a degree that even the malaika did not have. You can take children and try to explain to them very complicated concepts. They will not understand it. But you take adults, people who have been through an education system. You take a 10-year-old child and you put him in college. How much do you think he'll understand? But you take someone who's been through the education system and is fully equipped and has passed all of the exams and qualifies to be in college, you put him in college, how much will he understand or they understand? So the malaika, the angels, they were not exposed to this level of ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were not exposed to the material things of this dunya. What did they know? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala equipped Adam alayhi salam with this ilm, with this knowledge. And that is what gave Adam alayhi salam superiority even over the angels and the malaika. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then tells us in ayat number 31 that He gave Adam alayhi salam the names, the knowledge of the names of things. He taught Adam alayhi salam these names, all of them. ثُمَّ عَرَضَهُمْ عَلَى الْمَلَائِكَةِ. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presented those things to the angels. فَقَالَ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the malaika and the angels, أَنْبِئُونِي بِأَسْمَاءِ هَؤُلَاءِ. Inform me of the names of these things. In kuntum sadiqeen, if you're speaking the truth. And what truth was that? The malaika, the angels, they had a reservation which they expressed in the previous ayah. That, oh Allah, are you going to create a creation that will cause mischief on the earth and that will shed blood? There's also another point that needs to be made very clear, that this level of ilm and knowledge was not given to the jinn or jinnat. They did not know the names of the material things of this dunya. They did not know the limitations of the material things of this dunya. So they were not able to take benefit from this dunya the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed us human beings to take benefit. Which makes this insan, this human being, unique above the other creations. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after presenting these items to the malaika or the angels, then the angels realized that we don't know what need do the angels have. But the material things of this dunya, they're not in need of any of the sustenance in this dunya. They're not in need of shelter of this dunya, of this world. They're not in need of the air that we breathe or the water that we drink or the tomatoes and onions and all the biryani and stew masala and whatever else we eat. What need do they have with these things? They don't have. You don't have any need for it. What do you know about it? So the angels didn't know anything. They had no need to know. So the angels made one very unique claim. Qalu, the angels, they said, Subhanak, oh Allah, glory be to you. You are perfect. This term, Subhanak, amongst the masnoon adhkar, to recite those adhkar which are recommended by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And it was the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam to do those adhkar after every salah. Amongst them is also the dhikr subhanallah 33 times, alhamdulillah 33 times, and Allahu Akbar 33 times, and some other riwayat 34 times. Often at time we say them, we just pass through and we try to finish them quickly because we have to go. But sometimes we never really stop to think, what does subhanallah mean? You read the translation, glory be to Allah. It never does justice. Subhan, if you really go into the depth, and again we don't have too much time to go into the depth, but it speaks about perfection. And if you go back into the root of the word, sabhan, in Arabic it means to swim. Swimming. And where do we swim? We swim in the lakes or the oceans. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the very first wahi that was revealed after Iqra, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Surah Al-Muzammil. In those ayat that were revealed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Inna laka fin nahari sabhan tawila. That, O Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in the day for you there is very long swimming, meaning hard work. You have to make effort. You know how hard swimming is? For those who haven't swam, you don't realize what swimming. It is the best workout. I don't endorse it. Maybe somebody drowns, the Imam told us. I'm just saying. If you don't know how to swim, first learn to swim, then go swimming. But it's a whole body workout. Your hands have to work, your feet, and everything has to work in equilibrium. You can't be beating your feet one way and moving your hands the other way. You're not going to be swimming. First you need to learn to float. That's a different story. But that swimming in itself, it is very, very difficult task. And giving da'wah, inviting people to the deen of Islam, it is also a very difficult task. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam like this, that in the daytime, you have such a difficult job, inviting people to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyhow, when you take it to Babi Fa'alan, subhan, that unlimited swimming, and subhanallah, swimming in perfection, to try and find how perfect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. Subhanallah. That only being who is perfect. He is above and beyond any kind of imperfection. Subhanallah. He's far above and beyond any kind of imperfection. And He is the only being who is perfect. There can only be one perfect being. They say math is a universal language. There can only be one infinite. If you split infinite, now it's not infinite anymore. Right? There's only one infinite being. One being that is perfect. That is Allah. Everything else in creation, it's imperfect. It's full of imperfections. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only being who is perfect. And because He is perfect, He's the only being that deserves to be worshipped. So when that is the case, anytime we realize our weakness, we say Subhanallah. Anytime we find something amazing, what do we say? Subhanallah. Because it is beyond our ability to understand the beauty of just the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How perfect is the Creator. So this is that being. So the malaika, the angels, they said Subhanak. And again, this is a very, very very minute understanding of the word Subhanallah. And it's a very elementary meaning, a real depth. When you start to really contemplate on the creation of the heavens and the earth, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about ulul albab, and I know I'm going off of the topic a little bit, but when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about those who have lub, those of high level intellect, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al Imran, إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. That in the creation of the heavens and the earth, in the alteration of night and day, there are many signs for ulul albab, for the people of the highest level of intellect, very deep thinkers. What are some of their qualities? الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. There are those who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala standing and sitting and lying down on their side, which means in all conditions. It's amazing that time isn't mentioned here. I'm not going to go into the tafseer of those ayat. But positions are mentioned. In every condition they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. They spend their time contemplating on the creation of the heavens and the earth. They're not on social media or the internet or whatever else we do to waste our time. They spend their time really reflecting. Deep research on the heavens and the earth and the creation. And whenever they find and they go deep in that research and they get amazed, they reach their limits in their tafakkur, what do they say? Their dua, رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا. Oh Allah, you haven't created this creation uselessly, I mean for no reason. There's a very, very great reason behind this great design. Subhanak. Oh Allah, you are perfect. فَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. So that term Subhanak is also used in that dua. But Allah, you are perfect. We're so amazed just by the creation. How amazing the Creator must be. And save us from the fire of Jahannam. Ameen. So this is the ayat of Surah Al Imran. Coming back to the dua of the malaika, when the angels realized that they didn't know, and they realized that their reservation wasn't very founded because their reservation was based on very, very limited information, their own experience, which is very limited. So the angels expressed their weakness. This is Subhanak. There's a very, very deep lesson for all of us as Muslims here. Our job is to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us and commands us to do something, even if we don't understand the wisdom behind it, doesn't matter. All we need to know is we have to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because His ilm and His knowledge is perfect. Our knowledge and our experiences are very, very limited. And that is why the conclusions we reach are very limited. Many a time the conclusions that we have, even we buy something that we really want, we hardly reach home and we're looking for the return receipt. Now this is the limit of our conclusions. This is how much knowledge and how our conclusions are. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is perfect ilm. When He tells us to do something, it is nothing but benefit for us. So this is also the lesson taken from the humbleness of the malaika, of the angels. And they expressed their weakness. They said, Subhanak, oh Allah, you are perfect. Glory be to you. La ilma lana, we don't know. Illa ma allamtana, except whatever you have taught us. And you know that you have not taught us this. We don't know these things. Innaka antal alimul hakim. Oh Allah, you are the being that has perfect knowledge and complete and perfect wisdom. So they showed their humbleness. And this should be the case of every single believer. That we should not try to always think that we know. We don't know. In fact, what we know and what we don't know, if we were ever to actually be able to quantify it, we realize we know very little, if anything. That is why it is very, very important to put our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that whatever He has commanded us, He has commanded us for a very, very great reason. It was based on complete ilm and perfect wisdom. That is why these commands are for us nothing but benefit in our lives. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of us the tawfiq to practice His deen. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم نور قلوبنا بالقرآن وزين أخلاقنا بالقرآن ونجنا من النار بالقرآن وادخلنا في الجنة بالقرآن. اللهم اجعل القرآن لنا في الدنيا قرينا وفي القبر مونسا وعلى الصراط نورا وفي الجنة رفيقا ومن النار سترا وحجابا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين.